My client hasn't received any child support since the beginning of August.
Was there an agreement for this beforehand?
Absolutely not.
Well, Your Honor, my client reached out to the defendant a couple
Ms.
times.
Bills, I want to tell you, you don't talk unless I ask you to. Parties are present with their respective attorneys. That is, Ms. Bills is represented by Mr. Murphy. Mr. Bills is represented by Ms. Bueno. This was the plaintiff father's request for parenting time, child support, and extracurricular support. Let's start out and do the easy one. It's clear that we're going to have to modify parenting time somehow because Mr. Murphy, your client, moved to New York, and we're obviously not going to do every other weekend or something like that.
That is correct, Your Honor. We'd like to modify, and I think both sides want to modify, yes.
Yeah. All right. And I don't know that you guys have reached an agreement on modifying, although I would ask that the two attorneys discuss the matter so that they can try and reach an agreement. I think the best thing to do is either to send it to mediation, or quite frankly, if the two of you want to set up a settlement conference with me, I'll give you a half hour or something in the real near future to try and work something out. I mean, there's only X number of days that she can get. It's summers and breaks and stuff like that.
Agreed, Your Honor. We're happy to talk to the opposing counsel on that. I think we can work something out.
All right, Ms. Bueno, it's your motion, but I mean, I'm not going to find anything here today. If we have to, I'll have an evidentiary hearing, which would be god awful for just for parenting time when we know
Right.
certain things about it.
I would just add that I did have a chance to speak with opposing counsel yesterday. We're close, but not close enough, just based on the lack of parenting time that the defendant has chosen to have up to this point. So, I mean, I think having a settlement conference with you to get your feedback on what we should do going forward is probably the best solution.
Well, I'll ask the two of you. That's fine. We'll try and get you in here in the next week or two or whatever for a quick settlement conference. What it would be then is I would ask the two attorneys to come into my office, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, and we'll see if we can't figure something out. All right.
That'd be fine, and I'll provide a updated proposal to Ms. Bueno also.
And that would be great. I want the two of you to provide proposals to each other before you get in here, so I know where we're at least if I have to work on some of that. My clerk will get in touch with both of your offices and try and set something up. Yeah, it's either got to be later next week or like 3 weeks down the road, because I'll be gone for a week. So we'll get you in as quick as we can. Although there isn't any quite frankly, real rush on it, because there isn't going to be parenting time in September and probably nothing really in October. We got to get something on the books before we get to Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Very good.
We'll work with both of you and see if we can get you in here. Okay.
All right.
All right. Child support. I'm going to hold off a little bit on child support because basically that's going to depend. Some of it depends on number of overnights, and we're going to figure that out at the settlement conferences, what the number of overnights are going to be. They're not going to be a huge amount, I'm sure, but there was a UCSO of 521.24 that listed 52 overnights. Ms. Bueno, anything you want to say?
I would just ask that if the defendant has actually started her job in New York, that we be provided pay stubs for that.
Yes, I am employed.
She's employed at Target, as I understand, the same as she was employed at Target here.
Well, I mean, my client hasn't received any child support since the beginning of August. So that's why we're a little confused on why there's a big gap.
The whole reason for that was I took a leave of absence to make the move. So he will get that money all retro. They garnish my wages. It's taken out every paycheck.
Target takes it out?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You get it. You'll get what they take out and stuff like that, and any other enforcement you can do through the friend of the court. But basically, looks like there was a brief time period of they were not taking it, but she's telling you that they are taking it out of her check, and you know as well as I do that there's a delay between taking it out and getting it.
Right. I would just ask for some pay stubs so we have accurate information.
And vice versa, please, regarding your client.
Yes.
Okay, you guys can exchange pay information and do it within a couple weeks, 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right. Final deal here is regarding extracurriculars and or this payment to Sylvan Learning Center is the big one. Is that correct?
Yes, the Sylvan, we're asking for 2,700 reimbursement. And then,
Was there an agreement for this beforehand?
Absolutely not.
well, Your Honor, my client reached out to the defendant a couple
Ms.
times.
Bills, I want to tell you, you don't talk unless I ask you to. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say regarding the tutoring, my client did reach out to the defendant several times and didn't receive a response. He chose Sylvan because that's what the primary care physician suggested. So he went according to the doctor's orders and proceeded that way with it. And you know, the exhibits show that it worked tremendously and the child is doing great in school because
I
of that.
understand, but you know, he's asking also for extracurriculars and stuff like that. He complains about stuff like she hasn't paid for senior pictures and there's nothing in the judgment about payment for extracurriculars, okay? And I can't just add it to a judgment years after the judgment was in there. If the parties had put it in the judgment, then that's fine. But you're asking for something that is not in the judgment of divorce.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And I mean, if you can point it out to me in the judgment, that's fine. But other than that, these are extracurricular activities she's not required to.
And
No,
frankly, Your Honor, we believe that he's, that's an exorbitant cost. That's a big one. He needs to get pre-approval, and he's trying to nickel and dime her on this entire matter for whatever reason.
Your Honor, he's not trying to nickel and dime her. He's trying to get the kids whatever they need. And I understand that it's not in the judgment of divorce. But I mean, that's part of the reason, part of our motion now is because he's had such a hard time trying to get any kind of assistance. And so he's asking, at least from this point forward to get assistance.
Well,
Hold on, Mr. Murphy. You're asking to modify a judgment of divorce from 2016 or 2017 or something like that. And on a property type matter, and it's not modifiable for that. It's just not.
I'm not asking to modify it. I'm asking from this point forward.
That would be a modification because you're asking from this point forward. Okay.
That makes it a post judgment matter, not a modification of judgment matter.
Okay, then what you can call it anything you want. I don't find that I'm in a position to modify that judgment to going forward, that it would be a part of a judgment that they're extracurriculars. I'm sorry, it's a bad deal for your client, and I'll tell you he's doing a great job and she's not helping out very much, but it's not in there. And I'm not going to modify and now add something, because that's what you're asking for, is to add something basically to the judgment of divorce to have her responsible for extracurriculars in some percentage, and it just isn't there. If he had gotten some kind of an agreement from mom to say, okay, yeah, we need to get her to go to Sylvan and that kind of stuff, and it had come up, that'd be some kind of an agreement that I'd enforce. But by saying she didn't respond at all, now you want that to act as kind of an agreement, and it just is. It's harsh, but it's there is nothing in there that requires her to pay extracurricular type of activities or events.
Okay, I understand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Anything else, Ms. Bueno, you want to put on the record?
No, I don't have anything else.
All right, then who's going to draft the judgment there, the order that says that is denied? I will set a settlement conference as promptly as possible regarding parenting time. Parties shall exchange in 14 days financial information and pay stubs, basically, and that will reserve child support pending the parenting time order.
I'll draft this motion.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Thank you, Referee Frederick.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.